Hi, good evening everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. Bertemu lagi kita dalam sesi Authors Highlight, where we highlight individual authors to introduce themselves, introduce their piece of writing works, books, articles, or whatever it is. So together with me here is Puan Cassandra Eva Lau, who had written a few books and I think worth listening to. Puan Cassandra, can you introduce yourself freely, please?
Hi everyone, fellow audience. Currently I'm working as a lecturer for Swinburne University of Technology. I'm also a mother of three. Just recently I have written 3 children's storybooks called the Nyato Trilogy for children aged 4 to 12 years old. I have been a school teacher for both government and private institutions for more than 20 years now. And I'm just a lover of picture stories, picture books, and children's book, and that's it. And a storyteller.
Oh, you are a storyteller. That sounds very good. Why picture books?
I just enjoy reading and watching through all the picture books and trying to understand the meaning from the storytellers, or from the writer, So even though picture books has very minimal words, I really enjoyed it. And when I was young, I wanted to be a children's book writer. But I'm in the education line, and I have never actually have a time to really sit down and write my stories until my 3 children, because I tell them a lot of stories during bedtime. It's like a bedtime routine.
Okay, they must enjoy you, sure.
Yeah, so I have to conjure stories up within like 5 minutes. And one day my kids said that, "Mom, your story is so interesting, so why don't you write it down, because we want to read it over and over again." So because of that, then I went into story writing. So I started penning down my stories. So that's how 5 years ago I started writing down the story of Nyato. So Nyato I started in 2018. So 2018, it took me 3 years to actually produce these 3 books. That's a very long time, but that's how it is.
Okay, you read it since then, but who did those illustrations?
I got a friend to illustrate all my books. Her name is Alice Fira Saloju. So she drew all the stories for me. But there's always a lot of collaboration, sitting down with her, telling her this is my thoughts, this is my ideas. So the collaborative work is really intense. So that's why it took 3 years to produce these storybooks. And I got my inspiration for this book from our own nature, our own Borneo rainforest. So that is why Nyato is the protagonist, he's the main character, because he is a hardwood tree. So I want to portray a kid who is facing problems in his life. As a young tree, he faced also some problems with his surrounding, and I also want to portray that he is always in a good relationship with his father, that when he faces difficulties, he will always seek his father, and his father will reassure him, things like that.
Is this story self-generated, or you get it from folklore or something?
No.
It's your own?
Yes, this is a creative work. It's from my own thoughts and ideas. But of course, I have to do a lot of research for that, because all the pictures, all the animals...
must be real.
Yes, all the animals and the insects and the flora, the plants must all come from Borneo and not from other tropical rainforests.
And it must be correct.
Yes,
Yes,
it has to
definitely,
be.
yeah.
The
Oh.
facts have to be correct. The pictures, have to be correct. Just like the sun bear, our sun bear has a crescent on the chest, and the sun bear is a black bear, not a brown bear, a black bear. And in Taiwan, there is also a type of sun bear which is very similar to our sun bear, but here it's not crescent. It's a very sharp V shape. So when I tell the illustrator, we have to get the facts correct.
Yeah.
So it involves a lot of research. Yeah, for this, not just for first book, second book, third book also.
Where is the fourth book?
Fourth book probably is still in process. It's still in my mind. I already have, but it will not be a trilogy of Nyato. It will be on different bugs, different creatures from Borneo. Yeah.
Because you need to get ready. If this tree belongs to your 3 kids, the next 4, 5, 6 will be for your grandchildren. It's about stories, no ending story of stories, right? Okay. So and creativity has no limit. Actually, I'm very impressed where I don't see anybody yet so far in Sarawak having a protagonist, a character in their stories using names of wood. Because if I were to write this, I would use belian or other names. But Nyato, you must have good reason for choosing Nyato and not other trees. Why was that?
I don't know. It's simply the impression that Nyato, is a very tall and sturdy tree, very tall.
It is.
And it's really hardwood, and Nyato has many uses. A lot of the furniture industry use Nyato, but the name of Nyato just stick to my mind.
Sounds very nice, right?
Yeah, I don't know. That character just stick to my mind. And then when the first book was actually the hardest to produce, because even though it is the easiest to read, because it has a lot of repetitive words, a lot of chanting, but that represents him as a child. As a child, we sometimes repeat what we say. So it seems to have very few sentences, but it's really actually the hardest to write, because I have to think through again and again and revise through and review. But once I get the first book done, the second or the third book just fall into place, because he's a young boy. And then so when second book is the guardian of the rainforest, so you can see that he's an adult now, and he seems to be more authoritative. He is more in charge of the rainforest, and his father is also relinquishing his authority to his son, and that reflects sometimes the society that we have. And as an entrepreneur, sometimes when you build up a business, it's hard to let go. You see, so that you really this is really many layers of interpretation, but it's all based on nature, and so for second book it's easier for me to write, and but this is about the protection of our rainforest, how our rainforest has a lot of treasures, a lot of insects and creatures and bugs that are so unique to our own Borneo. Our own Borneo. And so I introduced that in a lot of pictures, like the lantern bugs. Lantern bugs are very unique to Malaysia. And then long nose horned frogs. Even these type of frogs, they are all in the deep jungle, and I have actually never seen them. I have seen lantern bugs, but not really some of these unique creatures. So I want to feature that as part of the treasures of the rainforest. So I actually love to go around schools or kindergarten to read aloud and share my stories to the kids. So one of the principals actually feedback to me that this book is really good for her to teach them, to introduce the topic on taking care of the rainforest, as well as to recycle. And after I went and shared, we met up again on another day, and then she said that it inspired her to start a tree planting project. So but then we were thinking tree planting project, she called up the nursery to ask for more than 100 trees, and that's going to cost a lot of money. She said, how am I going to do that? So we sat down and we thought for a while, and then she said, why don't we plant papaya? with one papaya you can germinate more than 100
correct.
papaya trees, and that's how it is.
Where was that, in Kuching?
In Kuching.
Oh,
yeah. I just recently, because the school was not open to visitors, so it's only recently in these 2 months that the school allowed visitors to come in. So I have been to 3 schools so far in urban city in Kuching. So I would like, if possible, to go to more schools to share these stories.
Should,
and to inspire teachers or principals or even the students. And I feel very happy doing that. So that when they ask me questions, the students ask me questions on all these books, and you see that they are responding to the stories. So that brings me a lot of joy and happiness.
Right now I see it is very educational, and here and there behind the scene is philosophical. It's about the life of that Trinyato. And here he becomes the savior of the almost extinct kind of. So I think this is very philosophical book, though it's for that Tadika level or something.
Up to primary 6, but even the adults, the principal also feedback to me and saying that when the children read the books, they read it at the surface level, but when adults read the books, it gives them different interpretation. It's like many layers to it. So that's the feedback from the principal, and I feel that wow, there is some effect there.
Was it intentionally done for that multi-surface kind of interpretation, or accidental? Rupanya macam itu kan?
No, it's not accidental, but I don't purposely do it as well. But as I write, many thoughts come to my mind, and and that's how it could be interpreted in many ways. So I love getting feedback from the readers or from parents. Sometimes they feedback. Not all of them are good. Some of them are not so good. Like for example, the first book, because Nyato faced difficulties, the bugs are digging holes into his body, so that it's cavities. So I have to, when I tell stories, I have to tell the children that cavities, if it happens to human, like if you have cavities, the holes in your teeth, it's something that's not so pleasant, something that you need to fix. But for a tree, it is something that is positive. Why? Because when you allow other creatures to live together with you, it creates a symbiosis atmosphere, a balance in the ecosystem, and that actually complement each other's life.
Complementing each other's life.
Yes. So I have a parent who actually talked to me about these cavities, but 6 months later, she personal messaged me again, and she was so very excited. She said that in Australia, they came up with a documentary where they built artificial holes on the trees to encourage more birds and creatures to come and stay, so that the population of the animals and the insects will continue to grow. So I have this
very noble thing to do.
So I find it interesting.
It's very biological and botanical to me now. So there is more branches of knowledge being given through one so-called maybe simple book, simple looking. I didn't say simple,
very simple,
but it's full of knowledge and interpretation. When was the first book published?
The first book was published in 2020.
When was the third book published?
The second and the third book was published last year, 2021.
Oh, it's very recent. When will be the fourth book?
The fourth book is still in my mind. At the moment, I wish to go around schools and do more read aloud sessions.
Go around schools in Kuching alone, or other districts, other divisions, or throughout Sarawak? Where's your intention?
It depends on schools inviting me.
How do you get invited? Do they look for you, or you tell them who you are and what you have?
Sometimes I tell. Sometimes I approach the principal and said that I have this book. Would you be interested?
Do you go through social media to do that?
WhatsApp.
Oh,
WhatsApp,
okay.
and then I go and meet the principal. Most of the time, I go and meet the principal and ask them, and they happily want to have a program because this is external with external parties. Yeah. I'm also a member of MIBBY.
What does that stand for?
That's Malaysian International Board on Books for Young People, and in fact I just came back from the Congress in Putrajaya. So it is an NGO, a worldwide NGO that promotes reading as well as publishing of quality storybooks and reaching to all the children around the world in war-torn countries, in refugees. So I'm one of the member, and then there are a few members in Sarawak.
Do they really help?
Yes. I talked to the secretary, and then she said that she shared books with the refugees in KL. Yeah. So here I want to start to share reading books with young children so that it can encourage them not only to understand more about our Borneo, our rainforest, and to protect and to appreciate and to love our trees and our forests and all the creatures, but also to encourage them to love reading. There's so much you can get from the books. So much knowledge that you can learn. So I want them to really love the books. So if you were to ask me what is the inspiration or what gets me to continue writing, right? It is going to school and seeing the students, gripping one of my books and,
Yeah, there will be money
Yeah.
cannot buy. Very
Yeah.
expensive kind of posture and scenery. Oh yes, that's my book, in our mind. Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, so they grip the book, they are very happy, and then they pour over the pictures and read the stories. The kind of revelation or change or joy that it brings to the kids. Yeah. And the principal, the teachers who listen, it spark change in them. So that's what I'm hoping to do.
And next will be from not knowing things into knowing things. There will be a change of knowledge acquisition through your books. Yeah, that's it. I got it.
Yes.
Now my question is, why in English? Not in Mandarin, not in Bahasa Melayu?
Yeah. Even though I'm educated in Bahasa, and my first language is in Mandarin, but because I'm an English teacher.
Oh, you are an English teacher, yes, okay.
Yeah, and I'm
All
an English teacher. I would like to encourage young students, to read and to love English. Not to say Bahasa is not important. It is equally important. Yeah, and I feel that a person needs to be multilingual. Yeah, they need to be good in all languages. Yeah.
Yes, multilingual or or at least dui bahasa,
bilingual. Yeah.
Bilingual, at least.
Yes.
Are you thinking one day that you might get a translator to translate into Mandarin and Bahasa Melayu so that, you see, because poverty in Sarawak, I thought it's also English handicap.
Correct.
You start telling stories in English, they would see you with empty mind and go home empty-handed. If you deliver your story in the language that they would easier to understand for the Chinese and for the Malays, let's say in their not to say mother tongue, but in the language that they used to understand, Bahasa Melayu and Bahasa Mandarin, they could tap the knowledge easier. Maybe are you not thinking along that corner?
Oh, I did experience that because I went to a kindergarten and because the medium of instruction is in Mandarin. Yeah, even though it's the students actually I think probably dominantly it's Mandarin speaking, but there are some Malays and there are some other Bumiputra.
Okay.
So I tap record my stories, it's in English, and on live, I translate it literally into Mandarin. And you'll be surprised, all of them, because they are 6 years old, so they have been in kindergarten for 3 years. The natives and the Malays could speak Mandarin really well.
And they might understand the content of that stories in Mandarin better than English.
Yes. So I translate it live in Mandarin.
Are you not going to translate that book into, this is my English book, Nyatoh, this is my BM booknya toh. This is my Mandarin booknya toh.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's the future plan is, but I do have parents who say that you can translate this to Bahasa. So I said, yeah, I will consider that.
Had you not started?
Haven't. Well, because funding is one thing. Yeah, funding is.
Because my next question could be about funding later. But
Yeah.
You see, the content is biological, botanical, philosophical, and knowledge giving. But limited to English only. You see, I mean,
Yes.
town people
Yeah.
where their socio-economic status is maybe above B40. Understanding English could be handy. It could be easy. If not easy, it could still handy. They could understand English. Some might be even their mother tongue is also English. But that will be oh yes, this is a good story. I understand it. But that poor little Chinese boy there, a poor farmer, also that Malay
Yeah,
boy there,
yeah.
that Bidayuh boy there.
Yeah.
So maybe bahasa of that kind might.
Yeah, I want to work together with a translator from Bahasa as well as for Mandarin. Mandarin, I already have a friend who can do it, but I'm still looking for a suitable translator for Bahasa. Yeah.
Look for one somewhere, maybe because there was a suggestion this morning that those Sarawak writers be put into a group, WhatsApp group by Pustaka Negeri Sarawak, where we can exchange ideas. And one lady this morning said we agreed to, let's say, like create an association. Association of independent writers, let's say, who has no things like if they don't have fun, we try to look for fun. If they can't market, we try to look for market. Try to strategize things where all of the ahli,
the talent is in a pool.
In a pool will be a few heads put together will be better. Things like that.
Yes.
So maybe once you are in that group later on, maybe can suggest few things where things work together. Like because this morning I have one totally a Mandarin writer, so he don't have English, he don't have BM, but he speak English. So why not write in English? He said, I'm better in Mandarin.
Yeah, that's why we need to have collaborators to work together.
And maybe,
I really look forward to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
No doubt at national level we have this Institute Terjemahan Buku Malaysia, ITBM in short. But you might have not reached them yet. Okay, my next question is, per title, how many prints?
At the moment, per title, 500 print.
How easily sellable? I mean, was it easy to finish the 500?
During the pandemic, because I published it during the pandemic last year, 2021, simply because I have to submit the books for a competition which is organized by IBBY. So
Where is that? IBBY?
IBBY, International Board on Books for Young People
in Malaysia.
In Malaysia, Malaysia. So I got I got an honorable mention for my third book. So that's very inspiring, and after that, because all the schools are on lockdown, the students have not returned to school, so it was difficult. So the books were just sitting in my living room. So I store it really well. But this year, when the school reopens, I started going out. So the sales have been very slow. The journey is not easy. The wait is also long, but I have support from Pustaka, which I'm so grateful. In fact, I must say this: I'm really an anak of Pustaka because when I was young, I have never owned any storybooks, because being from a frugal Chinese family, and my mom and my dad, we don't spend money on books, and also I'm not very sure, we don't go shopping, we don't go book hunting, so going to Pustaka is a weekly event. So every Saturday,
where was that?
Kuching? In Miri.
Without
fail, every Saturday at 3 p.m. I'll be in Pustaka. So I'll be in the library, I'll be reading books, I'll be going up and down, around, running around, playing hide and seek in the library.
Do you borrow books out?
Yes, I borrow a lot of books out. My sister and I will borrow books out, and we will be reading them. So the stories are really, the literacy skill and stories building are really honed from the library that is in the city. So I really applaud the work that Pustaka has done in Sarawak in really bringing stories and literacy to many young children.
To the town only.
Yeah, because I live in the town, you see.
Yeah,
So they may
lucky.
have other pustakaan bergerak or whatever, you know.
Maybe.
So I'm really appreciative of Pustaka. So Pustaka is like my second home. And then when I grew up and after I graduated and I was posted to Miri to work as a teacher, I'm a trained secondary school teacher. I went to Pustaka and I saw the librarian that used to serve me when I was young. He is unchangeable. He remains the same physically.
Yeah.
So I went and talked to him. I said that you were serving the Pustaka when I was young, when I was really, really young. Of course, he couldn't remember me, but I remember
He has thousands.
him. Yes, he has thousands of students,
young girls, students, or whoever are their visitors.
So it's very very meaningful.
But you are telling everybody that going to library, doing reading, it's worth your mental building. And to become a writer, you could recall all those stories that maybe increase a little bit of your inspiration or something like that, and maybe stories influence to your way of portraying your stories or writing or something like that.
And also storytelling is I have very vivid imagination, vivid memories of storytelling because, like I say, I grew up from a family that's not very rich, so we don't have a lot of. In fact, I never owned a storybook. So my mom. My parents subscribe to newspaper, so every few nights my mom will gather over us and she will read stories to us from the comic strip. And it's Chinese Mandarin, and because I was not educated in Chinese, my Chinese was very poor, but my mother would be telling the stories and would be listening and looking at the pictures. So that gathering around my mom sort of set a routine in me, you know, and that image is also something that inspired me.
Though it's not very comic, but it's picture. Possibly it's that influence. Maybe it's like tapping a stories from comic pictures, and now it's tapping stories from that kind of drawn pictures or something like that. It's about reading because it's about reading the non-words because people need to read. One is life. Contohnya COVID virus. People need to read to interpret so that they can solve the problem of the attack. And then next will be graphic things that we need to understand graph. We need to understand pictures. And next will be text. The last one actually is text. So it's like so. This book present itself in a very handsome situation where text and graphic should attract attention and it tells itself. So, to me, this tells itself.
Yes, correct.
Though it's like it's not comic, it's not cartoon. It's a graphical presentation of human character of Nyato.
Correct.
Possibly like that.
And also the text. I also play around with the text. That the text I arrange it in a more creative way, so that the text itself also tells the story.
And attractive actually. The layout. So who published this?
It's my own publication.
So your ISBN belongs to you as a person, not a company or something.
I publish it simply because I want to be in charge of the entire process of producing a book. I want to have a say in the layout, in the type of paper, in the quality of paper, and so on. Before this, I have always been producing articles for some journals, newspaper, for my university, for Swinburne.
Journals of and about?
Mostly on teaching and learning. Because I'm a teacher. So I'm an English teacher, major in English. So sometimes I write articles on that. And my recent publication just came out in Bookbird. So I think that's probably my greatest achievement so far, because Bookbird is a tier 1 journal. It's very high ranking, and I publish some. Actually, it's quite a narrative on my child and I, but it is more. It is on. Teaching and learning and life in general. Yeah, it's called Parting the Cobwebs. You can actually check it, Google it, and then it will come up. Yeah.
Parting the Cobwebs.
Yeah. I've also in recent years joined some book project for looking at researching at Sarawak women in the early childhood care for kindergartens and Tadika and Tabita. So I was one of the writers. So this got me to be really interested in seeing how young children are learned, and even looking at the history from Sarawak. You know, there are so many institutions, so many agencies that contribute to the environment of a very healthy early childhood institution in Sarawak. So it's very interesting. Yeah.
Are you not compiling those writings into, let's say, an combination of 20 articles for one book or something for the next publication of yours personally?
I'm not that famous yet.
Why need to be famous to get started?
I am just a young writer, and probably maybe I'll produce more. And we'll see how things go from there. Yeah.
So you'll be more famous then. Have any of your writing behavior impact and influence to your children?
I think it got my children to be very proud of their mother.
Okay, that's very positive.
Yeah,
right. Had they started almost the same thing like the mother did?
They are very good storytellers. I would say that my kids, they have very good imagination, because every night as I tell them story, by the time my youngest is 5-6 years old,
boy,
girl,
okay.
The youngest, I don't have to tell story. In fact, she forced me to.
She can tell you the story.
Yeah, she forced me to listen to her story every night.
That's very good girl.
Yeah. And my son, I'm also very proud of him. When he was younger, he struggled with mild dyslexia, so he had difficulties in reading and in writing, in producing work.
As time goes by?
As time goes by, because as I read a lot to him and I tell stories to him. Now this year he actually represented his school for storytelling competition, even though he didn't get to represent the district. It's okay.
Yeah.
For me,
Where is it? Kuching?
Yeah, in Kuching.
Which school is he from?
He's in Catholic English.
Okay, I know that. Yeah.
And I think it raised their confidence level.
Yes, definitely. Writing raised confidence.
It raised their confidence level, and it has an impact, I think, not only to my children, but to a lot of children.
Other children of their level, their age.
Yeah, I have heard the principal feedback to me 1 week after my read aloud session. She heard the kids were discussing the story of Nyato on the corridor. The kids
what level is that? Primary?
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
Yeah, kindergarten.
Had
level.
you thought of, let's say, one day you should go to the primary schools?
Yeah, I've been to the primary school to share as well. The principal and the English school teacher said that the students were very, very happy to listen to these stories, and it's like an awareness for them, and to know about the flora and the fauna, and also the rainforest.
Yeah, it could inspire them for certain projects, search projects or something like that. You know? They even go to secondary schools.
Yeah.
Because I thought secondary schools, present Malaysian schools are thought about exploration of knowledge,
Yeah.
knowledge seeking. So this is like botanical kind of research, you know,
Yeah.
where our town children very rare going to places of.
The forest, yeah.
Now you want to look for one nyatoh tree. Where is nyatoh? How does it look like?
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
99% of Sarawakian children at whatever age they are, zero knowledge.
Yeah, that's why after the share book session, I talk about the characteristic of a nyato tree, show them a real picture of a nyato tree, and then they was like, wow, it's really that huge and that tall. They say, yeah, and nyato tree could grow very, very tall, and because he has cavities in him, which seems, which was an irritation to him when he was young, but it became the perfect place, perfect nesting ground for
savior of
for the critically endangered helmeted hornbills. Yeah.
So this is a special book to me.
And also the knowledge of hornbills. The students were saying, wow, there are actually many species of hornbills.
Yeah.
What they always see is the rhinoceros hornbill, because the rhinoceros hornbill is a mascot for our Sarawak. We have it as a symbol. Yeah, but they didn't discover that helmeted hornbill is also part of our heritage. Helmeted hornbill is in our primary rainforest. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, so they got to know more about the characteristic of the helmeted hornbill and how important the trees are. Yeah.
Correct. I mean, if there is possibility that this third nyato here bear fruit and there his young nyato baby there, so he could be chopped down, chainsawed, and transformed into usage of nyato tree. There will be the fourth book. and the young baby nyato, there could be the fifth book. All right, so something like that. Is it possible there?
Maybe the possibility is endless.
There. It's endless. Yes, It's except that when do I start? Right. Okay. Like it or not, the whole world is locked down by COVID the past 2.5 years, 3 years. How had that affected your writing life? Like your marketing is impossible then. Do you go online also, or whatever it is? How had it affected you?
In a way, it has, because it has slowed down the production. I could have published it earlier, but because every industry is slow, the printing is slow because the workers have to take turns to come to work, and then the illustration was also slow. We need to do research, and we couldn't meet up, So all of these happened. It does slow down a lot of things in terms of media. Because I only have because I'm not a company, I'm just a writer, so I only do what I can to share it on Facebook, and from Facebook some of my friends, they share, and so they will order from me and things like that. So it has been very slow in terms of progress.
Had you been to Tadika during your free times or during your non-lecturing days to say, okay, hey, principal, I have this book for you, try to introduce like that, or you just let's say by WhatsApp or by secretly there, because we are shy people, teachers are shy people, right? So am I. Don't you think that if you go more of that kind of physically visit their premise, that you can sell more, or you can have more activities with the children where you have more listeners and more people benefiting from what you write? What do you think?
Yes, I did. I approached the principal, and I always give my books as a gift to the school.
For allowing you in.
Before I even talk about the project of Read Aloud, so I introduced my books and to see whether they are interested in it, and then I introduced the Read Aloud project, that we can have a Read Aloud session and so on. I did that. I approached a few schools, and it's just the waiting for the response from the school is slow. It's something that we have to, as a writer, it is something that we have to
Tolerate.
correct. We have to
Sometimes
tolerate.
no response. It's not just slow, but
Correct,
no
correct,
response.
correct,
Yeah.
yeah.
Secretly, they shy away.
Yeah. I think that's the reality. That's a reality that you, that as a writer, that you have to face. That the road
Yeah.
as a beginner is not easy. Once you reach a famous level, everybody will look for you. But the starting point has always been difficult. So it is with this realistic mindset that I have, so that I don't give up. You know, that I don't give up and I feel down because it's like no support, you know, my books can't sell and things like that. So it's a continuous process. So I tell myself, never mind, I will just continue to approach school and approach principals and teachers.
Don't you think by working together with newspaper people could slowly introduce this? Like, let's say you talk about it in a small article by publishing this, and maybe those who are interested maybe can WhatsApp you for something like that. It's like macam column writing in newspapers, so could introduce that also as a way to, besides using the social media, to introduce what you have.
I think all media is possible. With newspaper, that is possible. If I just need to maybe see the right person and approach. Because
even if you send it to them, if they're not the correct person to receive, say, who is this?
Let me just chuck it away.
Quite normal. Then.
And even bookstores also, bookshops. I have also called up a few bookstores, but the major bookstores, you know, sometimes when you call, there's totally no response. You email, there's no response from them. So it just teach me that we need to persevere. That if you see the light for this, you know, this road as a writer, it's a very, it's a less trodden road. Not many people will go into this field because it is not a money-making enterprise. It is not. It is
money
not a
losing enterprise.
Correct.
In Sarawak, it's money losing.
It is not a money-making enterprise. So, I don't get, you know, I don't get a lot of profit. In fact, I didn't get any profit even up to now, which has been 2 years. But sharing the stories with children and seeing it makes a difference in their lives, and it makes a difference and impact in the lives of the principal, the teachers. It inspired a change in them. You know, they want to start planting trees. They start to look at trees in a different light, for example. I think that by in itself is really very rewarding for me. So
don't you think that if Swinburne could start something like a book appreciation session or book reading session, where you create a competition out of this book, you create a writing competition somewhere among tadika, among primary kids and among secondary school children, write stories about Nyato. The theme is about Nyato. Could you think that maybe could increase the market? Something?
Swinburne has always been. They always have these activities where creative writing competition. But so far, I'm one of the jury and have been for many years already. My colleagues and I, we were in this together because we want to encourage the Swinburne community to continue to pen creative writing.
Do they exist right now?
Yes,
they do.
Every semester we have poem writing competition and short story writing
When they
competition.
graduated, do they continue?
Some of them may. We do have all their. They keep in touch.
Okay.
So far we have the microfiction challenge that's organized by Madam Christina, Dr. Christina, and so that is open to all the secondary school and the primary school in Sarawak. So next year you will see it being publicized. So they would invite students from Sarawak to join. So we do have this program to reach out to more kids, so that, you know, in terms of literacy, to encourage them to read and write stories. There
is one yearly occasion, what jungle is it? The music festival, Equatorial. I can't really
the
remember.
Rainforest Music Festival.
Rainforest Music.
Yeah.
Can maybe you imagine that you work together with them, where something of a book activity be done together with them, will be like a tourist attraction or something like that. Maybe you can work with them, see how is it possible. Big or small doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You get started there, you'll be more famous faster.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
that's a
madam.
good idea.
You work on that. Maybe it's a contribution. Maybe take it very micro to you, but more to tourism enhancement in Sarawak, because we had been so-called dead for 3 years. Our economy was that. So if that could boost something, and maybe of good sales, better sales for your book, it could be more inspiration for the 4th, 5th, 6th book.
Yeah, I welcome all these collaborating works and these activities to increase more understanding and also exposure of our rainforest to the world.
Maybe have a good session even in Pustaka, like drawing competition. The theme is Nyato, or rainforest trees. It's about this book. So anybody who joined that competition, you buy 1 set. So we good. Maybe, just about marketing. All right. So, madam, so how do you, after experiencing writing, storytelling, educating, getting knowledge, earning knowledge, acquiring knowledge, and transferring knowledge back to your students at university level, at Tadika level, primary level, secondary level, what do you advise our youngsters about writing and storytelling?
I think if they have a dream, they should pursue it. And when they pursue it, sometimes they may meet troubles or difficulties, especially at the very beginning, that they do not lose hope and they do not lose the light and the vision that they have to continue on.
Does that mean that this come out of a dream first?
Oh, no.
Why did you touch on if they dream something, they should materialize it? It doesn't come from a dream. No, that it just have an intention, maybe not a dream yet. So how do you still advise them?
If they want to be something, they can.
There's no limit.
There is no limit.
If there is a wish, there is.
If there is a wish, there is always a way. They need to work hard for it.
And nothing is easy.
Nothing is easy. I think the reality world is not what we fantasize or what we think, but God will always open a way. I believe in God. So So I think having a lot of people to support is very important. In this venture, I must say I wouldn't be able to do it if I don't have friends and colleagues who help me to read my books and give me feedback. Because telling a stories can be easy. Within 5 minutes I can come up with a stories, but writing them down, it has to be really proper. You need to have a proper plot. You need to have a very strong character. So it involves a process, and the process can be endless. Some writers might write draft and draft. Some people might be so easy, just one dream, one story, and they can just pen everything down, and it's perfect for publishing only. Some people, they might think of a draft, they might think of the storyline, and then when they go out or they went out elsewhere, they come back, they may have a different thoughts, different ideas, and they may change it again. So the whole process involves many revision.
And many cognitive processes.
Yes.
Yet, the written is small.
Written is small.
What do you advise our Sarawakian writers? Since the written is so small, I might as well jual roti canai down there, along the street, and earn more. So, what's your advice to our present writers?
I think writers who go into this less trodden path, they are always inspired, not by money. They are inspired.
I think you are right. Yeah.
They are inspired by other things. They find a lot of reward in other factors. Definitely, having money is important because it ensures the sustainability as a writer, that we can continue writing. We can continue to put food on our table. Yeah. So that in itself is also important, because that is the reality. So I think we need to strike a balance. Like, you cannot be a writer without being able to market yourself as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
marketing your product,
Yes,
marketing the activities behind it, the benefit out of it. Okay.
Yeah, I think writer in this century is different from 10, 20 years ago. So, and I went into self-publishing instead of approaching a printing company, simply because I want to be so sustainable. I want to be in control. I want to have a say, to have a say in my book production. So, and I think I want to have my voice there, and to see the finished product that I feel very proud of. So that's something. And I think that the trend nowadays is that young people, they are very versatile. They can draw, they can write, they can print. You know, they can do a lot of things simply because we have technology on our hand. So that enable a writer to be,
to move on.
To move on, correct? So my advice, that if they are passionate about something, they should go for it.
Why not? To be more famous than present level.
But as a writer, you don't go in just because you want to be a famous person.
If you want to be famous, become a singer faster.
So I think being famous is
secondary.